Hello, welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you're watching for the first time. This is my 26-week pregnancy update. Not sure if you can hear it, but I'm just getting over being sick. Week 26 was basically just me trying to look for a doctor. So it wasn't a great week. On the upside, it's now week 27. The baby's as big as a cabbage, according to what not to expect. And this is the last week of the second trimester for me. So I'm looking forward to week 27. As mentioned, week 26 was a shocker. I'm going to share a little snippet of, I did some video diaries. They're a little bit emotional, but I was just having a tough week. I was feeling really sick. I've started off, I've already got some mum guilt and the baby's not even here yet because I did in the end get some antibiotics. I didn't want to. Obviously, you want to keep everything as natural as possible, but in the end, it was best for the baby and me that I get better and get on the mend. So I am on antibiotics, feeling a little bit better every day. But yeah, just carrying that little bit of bum guilt that hasn't been completely natural, But that's life. As long as I get better, that's the main thing. And the baby is okay. So I'll share that little snippet now. So I'm just heading off to get my glucose blood test. I'm a bit nervous because I don't like blood tests because they can never find my veins. So I've drunk lots of water, I'm fasting, and I'm starving. So I'm going to try and get the earliest appointment I can. I've woken up, I had the worst night's sleep, not because of the baby, for a change, but my throat is so sore and I was coughing a little bit last night. I actually thought originally that it was from heartburn. I had really bad heartburn on the weekend, so I thought that was causing my throat to be a bit sore. But after last night and when I've woken up this morning, I guess I'm not feeling 100%. But now I'm going to have to line up and wait for a COVID test and then feel sick for the next few days until I can get cleared and see a doctor properly. That's not going to say I have heartburn when I know it's a lot more than that. So yeah, it's a very frustrating system. I am booked in to do a telehealth appointment tomorrow with not my GP, but a doctor at my medical centre. I had to cancel my hospital appointment, which was tomorrow. They've moved it to a Monday next week. So I still don't know what I've got. I did end up going to a GP who I had been to in the last 12 months, but he's awful. And I was trying not to go, but because I'm not well, I needed to get a doctor's certificate. So I went to him and he told me it was the heartburn. And then he gave me a prescription for a heartburn medication, which I'm not going to take because I can tell you right now, it's not heartburn. I don't have any heartburn at the moment. I had it over the weekend, but what I have now is certainly not heartburn. So hence the reason I want to get a second opinion, but it's also going to be hard with the telehealth because they can't hear my chest. So yeah, I'm just super frustrated by this whole situation, considering we've only got 3 active cases in Queensland and they're all in quarantine. And yeah, so you have to self-isolate until you get your results back, which means I can't go into the doctors unless maybe she speaks to me tomorrow and wants to see me. So that's the update. So I'm self-isolating. It's extremely frustrating. All I want to do is see a doctor. I just want to be in the same room as a doctor. I don't have COVID. I've got the test. Results, sorry. So then she rang me back and she said, no, so he won't see you in the room. He'll do a telehealth consult with you because it's against advice of, whoever. And I just said, don't worry about it. I know another clinic that will see me. I haven't been there before, but they said they will see me. So don't worry about it. So then rang the other clinic. She was great. She goes, look, we've got an isolation room. She goes, if you got the negative test, that's fine. We've got a doctor who'll see you. So I'm booked in to go at 11 o'clock to see what's wrong with me. It's just like I shouldn't have to fight to see a doctor and hormone levels. So I'm very emotional. It's just, I feel so sick. And, I don't want to stress out. I just want to see a doctor, see what I can take to make me get better because I'm not feeling good. And I know that they're not going to be able to tell over the phone what's wrong with me. It shouldn't be so hard especially because I've got the negative COVID test. We've got 3 cases in Queensland and they're all in quarantine. It's just, I feel for people in other countries. Like, we've actually got a pretty good system, but I tell you what, I'm not feeling it at the moment. So anyway, like I said, I'm tired, emotional, and feeling very sick. So as you can see, it was a bit of a, I was going to say, I had a lot of highs and lows last week, but it was mainly just lows. Didn't even get my beach walk in or swim in on the weekend, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it was a tough week. In the end, you know, he thought it was a viral infection that turned bacterial. And then I feel like it's a sinus infection now, because if I put my head down, it kind of feels like it's going to explode. But I am on the mend, so that's the main thing. A few things that I didn't mention in last week's video is that we don't know the gender of the baby, so we're keeping that a surprise. We figure that, you know, so much these days, everything, you know, is at the tip of your fingers. If you want to answer to something, you just ask Google, and you can get the answer. I could probably Google what gender I'm having, and Google will probably know, so I won't. Maybe I'll do that next week. But yeah, it'll be nice to have a surprise. You know, there's not many surprises left in life, so we're looking forward to it. At this stage, I feel like it's leaning more towards a girl, but obviously it's 50-50. It's nice to play the guessing game though. I am 35. I am considered a geriatric mother. That is written on paperwork. So the minute you turn 35, you're a geriatric mother. Doesn't make me feel old at all. This is my second pregnancy. My first pregnancy ended in miscarriage at around 9 weeks on Christmas Day in 2019, but that's probably a different video. And that's probably why, to tell you the truth, so we're, like I said, 27 weeks today, and we don't really have anything set up. A lot of people have like a full nursery decked out at this stage, which I guess it doesn't really matter because the baby sleeps in our room for the first few months and we can put a change table anywhere. So I'm not really too stressed, but yeah, we haven't really bought, and because of my age too, all my friends and family have had kids and have beautiful hand-me-downs that I've got, you know, I've got 3 or 4 tubs of clothing, being that we don't know what we're having. We've got some boys' clothes, there's a lot of neutral clothes in there, and a couple of girls' items, so depending on what we have, we'll be stocked up, that's for sure. And I could probably count on one hand the things I've actually bought for the baby, and I guess because I had the miscarriage with my first pregnancy, I was a bit skeptical to buy anything at the start. I kind of just kept holding off. You just want to be, you know, certain. But I'm very grateful to be where I am at the moment and to be at 27 weeks, my last week of the second trimester. One thing I was going to say is that, which I didn't expect, was that being this far along too, like 26 weeks, 27 weeks, you're going to wet your pants. It's just something you have to get used to. Not completely, you'll be able to get on with life, but I thought I had a pretty good core, did a bit of yoga, I didn't think I was too bad, but no, I just think everyone I've spoken to seems to agree with me. So most likely when you're laughing, you will wet your pants a little bit, especially if it's a really good laugh. If you're coughing, I learnt that last week when I was sick, coughing is not good for your bladder. And also is sneezing. Sneezing can set you off too. So, yeah. And also, I remember at the start, everyone's like, the first trimester is the worst because you're constantly going to the toilet and it keeps you up at night. And they're like, don't worry, it settles down in the second trimester. I didn't find it settled down in the second trimester. I'm still going to the toilet as much as I was. Obviously, if you're drinking a lot of water, that makes a bit of a difference. You want to drink a lot of water. But I just find that I'm still going to the toilet as much as I was in the first trimester, especially now that the baby, you can actually feel it jumping on your bladder. It kind of makes you want to go to the toilet. So I think I'm up still, you know, 2 or 3 times a night going to the toilet. In my experience, it doesn't lessen, basically. And then I'm sure in the third trimester, when the baby gets bigger and starts to push on everything, I'll be going to the toilet just as much. Leg cramps. A couple of weeks ago, I got some really bad leg cramps. I think people call them Charlie horse, or that's what I Googled anyway. And they were excruciating, like to the point where I was always screaming in bed. It woke me up. My partner thought I was having a bad dream and was trying to like shush me. But it was
so excruciating, like to the point I was nearly crying. It was so painful. So after that, I spoke to my doctor, and I'm now taking magnesium at night too, just to help with that. Excuse me, God, I'm losing my voice. So yeah, the magnesium helps, and then I do some calf raises on a tiled floor. They say to do it on a cold floor before you go to bed, and that helps with the cramping. Obviously, to keep your legs raised whenever you can. That's hard sometimes when you're working and whatnot. But I found it's really helped me. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so don't go taking magnesium because I've told you to. But definitely it's worth asking your doctor. I take it with my multivitamin at night. I'm taking the Blackmore's Pregnancy and Breastfeeding Gold. Everyone was like, take Alivit, it's amazing. Alivit didn't work for me, made my stomach a bit sore. I just didn't feel good. My doctor wanted me to take the Alivit because obviously I think it's got the highest amount of iron and folic acid. But the Blackmore's has, quite a lot in it. I take one in the morning, one at night, and I find it's a lot nicer to my stomach. I've got quite a sensitive stomach, so that's what works for me, and I'm still taking my vitamins and getting, the folic acid and iron that I need. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you just got to do what works for you. The Alivit was, didn't agree with me. I've been looking into hypnobirthing a bit in the last few weeks, listening to audiobooks and reading. I know everyone says you can't have a birth plan, which I'm completely understanding of. At the end of the day, the baby's going to do what the baby wants to do. But I'm just looking into that at this stage. So I'll probably get there and be like, give me all the drugs you've got. But for now, I'm just trying, even if it's just a good relaxation method, I found some really interesting, points that they bring up. So I'll keep exploring that kind of hypnobirthing realm and let you know if I come up with any amazing insights. Excuse me, I need to have a drink. So I'll try and wrap it up soon so I don't completely lose my voice. The baby has been moving heaps this weekend, like dancing around. It's quite funny. But every time I try to film it, it stops. So I think I've got a camera shy baby. Also, when my partner tries to feel it, it stops. So he thinks we've got a bit of an inside joke because I'm like, oh, the baby's moving so much, it's kicking, come and feel it. And then he'll touch it and it will stop moving or kicking, it will hide. So don't expect your baby to perform on cue. It doesn't happen. Well, mine's not anyway. So it's every time. So hopefully now coming into the later trimesters, we'll start seeing it a bit more, being that it's running out of room. And I'll be able to get some footage, or my partner will be able to feel it kick. I think he's only felt it once. But yeah, they might be stubborn like me and just not want to do what it's told. So I think I'm looking at my list because, last week was a tough week. I had to make a list because I'll just forget things. Look, I think that's it for week 26. I think we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to go save my voice and have some breakfast and then head to work. I will give you a quick bump update. So this is week 26. Start of week 27. I've kind of got a B-shaped bump. I don't know if you've read about those, but like a D-shaped bump is really flat. Mine's more like, goes in a little bit at my belly button, so it's more like a B shape. And I don't have, my belly hasn't popped out yet, my belly button, so I've still got an innie, which usually they say it pops about 26, 27 weeks, and it still could pop, but at this stage, it's still an innie. I'll keep you posted on whether it decides to pop out or not. I don't think my sister's popped out, so maybe mine won't. Anyway, thank you for listening to my terrible voice. And I'm apologising if you can hear the fan in the background, but it's just, like I said, it's so hot here. I'm running hot anyway. Being pregnant, you're just hot all the time. So I couldn't do this without the fan on. Otherwise, I'd be sweating and it wouldn't be a good sight for anybody. So thank you for watching. I will update you next week on all my results that I get this week from the hospital and the doctor with my bloods. And I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.